We are not green in manual therapy. We're a non-green manual therapy course. I thought that was mildly common. All right. Anyway, no green. Right? You're gonna get them as close as you can, and we're gonna go first with flexion. So my recommendation, depending on the patient, is the following. So I'm gonna have them cross their hands across their chest. Sometimes I'll have them hold onto a pillow if they prefer, again, to keep that separation. And then I'm just going to kind of manhandle her. Here we go, right? I'm grabbing her like this, and I've got to be in here. You know, I'm not like this, right? I'm not fearful of this person. I'm in here like this, and I'm going to kind of create this type of motion. So I'm kind of using this hand a little bit to guide, and I'm just going to kind of do a few of these to get started. And I'm going to tell her, you know, I'm going to say, bring your chin down to your chest, and kind of bend forward a little bit. I'm going to guide her active motion. She's going to kind of help me with this, and that's okay, because it's going to be easier that way. Okay? I'm going to pick a segment, and you can pick wherever you want. I'm going to start, sorry, my hands are cold. I'm going to start up high. So, you know, we found our C6 already, right? There's C6. So there's T1. Like I said, I usually treat T1 through T3, 4, kind of like the cervical spine. So I might even skip down with this one down to T4, T5 maybe. But we can start up high with this, because, I mean, we will have segments moving here. So we're here like this, and I appreciate that I'm going to start high. So the lower I go, what do I need to do with her, the lower I go? I need to flex her more, right? So the lower we go, the harder it is to actually use this technique, because then by the time I get down to here, I'm flexed away like this, and I have to control that motion. But if I'm up here, just a little bit of flexion. I mean, right here already, I'm getting motion, okay? So I want you to think about creating this motion using 3 hand contacts. And you say to me, but you only have 2 hands. And I say to you, you are incorrect. I have my left hand, I have my right hand, and then I have my chest hand, right? So my chest hand is helping me, right? So that may be harder or easier to do, depending on your gender, okay? But, you know, this kind of like really is a big help to me, right? So again, use a pillow if you need to, ladies, right? But we're kind of creating motion, and this hand is kind of guiding it as well. But I could really create this just by doing this with these 2 hand contacts, okay? So I'm going to create the motion first. Once I have the motion created and I see the motion is occurring, then I'm going to palpate with my favorite spot. And I'm palpating at the inner spinous space. And really today all we're looking for is just like, can you feel something moving in there? Okay, good. Right? So they're not hinging at the waist, right? Because that's not really accomplishing it. We want them folding, right? I tell them, pretend you're a fruit roll-up. Yes. Imagery is always good. So Lauren, the fruit roll-up, is going to kind of bring her chin down toward her chest, and we're going to kind of just create very nice, kind of a little bit of a rhythm. There's the motion. I see it happening. It's right there. Sometimes in the upper thoracic, just them moving their cervical spine is enough for me to create forward bending. Okay, but then as I get lower, I'm creating more motion here, and I'm going from segment to segment quickly, right? And I'm going to say, man, that segment isn't opening like that one did and like that one is. That one just isn't opening there. Right? And that may be kind of help me out with understanding where the problem lies. Okay, so that's forward bending. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Backward bending, I'm going to use the leverage of the arms. So I'm going to have her with her arms, her fingers clasped behind her neck. Okay, but on her neck more than on her head, down a little bit. And elbows forward. So I can create, you can see really easily, backward bending just by doing this. So what you want to think about is this. I'm kind of bringing her elbows out and scooping. You see the scoop that's going on here? Just kind of relax for a moment. There you go. So I'm just kind of scooping. And see, this hand is kind of providing leverage. This hand is kind of providing, my right hand is providing leverage on this one. See how that works like that? And you see how I can provide leverage but still palpate? All right, so I'm palpating as that hand is providing some leverage. Up here, I just need to do this. Right, but when I get down to here, I need to come way out here and just kind of relax, really. There we go. Okay. So I kind of do this, and I'm creating that leverage, and I'm creating backward bending. Well, what will I feel with backward bending? Well, the inner spinous space, you can actually feel them closing down a little bit. Right, so I'm just trying to feel motion. I'm not worried about what kind of motion. I'm just saying, is that moving, and is it the same as up and above and below? Right? Side bending. Arms across your chest again. My recommendation for side bending, there's a couple ways we can do this. If I'm going to side bend them toward me, right, I'm going to use my armpit. Doesn't that sound like fun? Awesome. So I'm going to do this. So my axilla is now on her shoulder, okay? And I'm just bending my knees. All right, so I'm creating ipsilateral side bending toward me. Now what really helps with this is for me to use this mobilizing hand to provide a fulcrum. So with this hand I can kind of go boom. See, I can kind of push a little and create more side bending. And I think most of your hands are big enough to probably be able to create that side bending while you're palpating. So with this part of my hand I'm pushing, and with this finger I'm palpating. So I'm pushing here and palpating here. And I'm just kind of getting the whole thing going with bending my knees. Right? So pretty easy to do. If I want to side bend the other way, I could have her come all the way over here and do the same thing. Or I could be tricky and I could do this. Let me have you bring your arms up like this. Again, I might have a towel, pillow, whatever, but I'm going to go whoop, bam, right? And now I've got this. See, I can side bend her that way. So that gives me some leverage that way. So now I just kind of, I'm here and I feel. So I create the motion first, make sure everything's cooking there, it's moving where I want it to move, good. And now I feel as she's going into that. Okay? Rotation is easy. I'm kind of doing the axillary thing again, or I'm just kind of grabbing like I did with flexion, and now I'm just rotating. Right, so rotation is a pretty easy movement to create. Again, I'm using my right hand and my chest hand to kind of create a little bit more of that torsion as we're kind of going through there. And I'm just palpating interspinous space. This is a great one again. Rotation is a good one to use that counter pressure, over pressure thing. So again, if she's like in here and I'm feeling some hypermobility, I might take my thumb and just kind of give her some over pressure on the right side. You guys see how that's over pressure right there? Or I might use my hand here, a little over pressure, or counter pressure. You guys see that? I'm moving her, but I'm blocking it here. So there's the spinous. So I'm holding the transverse, and now as I move her, I'm blocking her from moving at that segment. Here, I'm creating motion, over pressure. I'm moving her, but then I'm giving her more. Right? Here, I'm moving her, but I'm stopping that segment from moving. I'm on that transverse process, and I'm blocking it from coming back. For those of you who can't see very well, I think it's going to show up nice in the video, so I'll definitely post those so you guys have that. Okay, so there are the four motions. I'm not concerned that you do it exactly that way. As long as you're maintaining the plane, you're not pulling her off the table, and she's comfortable, and you're getting motion, you're palpating. You know, if you're better, you know, doing other methods, if there's other ways that you guys, you know, feel like you have a better handle on things, you know, with handhold, I think that's fine as long as you're able to feel some of those things. There's just some suggestions I have, so I'm not, you know, you don't have to do it that way. So palpating, this is not easy. Lots of segments here. It's one of those where you go, oh, thoracic, okay. But because it's not easy doesn't mean we shouldn't try, because she wants us to really try. Because she's coming in to see us, right? So we got to do something. And we don't want to just do hot packs and ultrasound and massage, right? We want to really try to get at the heart of what's going on. So it's harder, but it's necessary in some cases to find some answers. A lot of these folks fall between the cracks.